Good morning. Hello, hello. So I woke up this morning and it was like warmer than it has been. And the sun was out. It was really pretty. And now going to get coffee, my free coffee of the day. And I don't know, it's nice. It's not freezing. It's got to be like 58. So I'm truly grateful to Abba for that. But I wanted to talk about an experience I had yesterday. I'm almost sure that you guys might be feeling the same way I'm feeling, but I don't know. So that's why I popped on for 1 second so that I could talk to you about it and share a little bit of info with you today. But I was with my sister-in-law, who's been super awesome and wonderful. Also wonderful about keeping me busy so that I'm not like dwelling on the situation either. And we went to, she wanted to take me to some like thrift stores that she goes to all the time in her area. And so I was like, okay, we'll just go and look. No biggie, it gets us out of the house, you know, it's fun. And one of them was a Little Sisters of the Poor thrift store we went to. And I love thrift shopping. I mean, I own a thrift and donation business. So hello, obviously my thing, right? I think everybody does nowadays. But anyway, to the point. I was looking around, walking, and the difference between that store and your average Salvation Army Goodwill / thrift store was that, well, everything was so neat. It was like one of those stores at the mall, you know, where everything is perfectly folded and hung up super neat and clean and awesome. And I was like, well, this is different, but it's nice. I like it because it was kept so well organized. Anyway, I looked around. They had the basic stuff, the basic, trying to think, you know, sheets, towels, clothes, etc., furniture. But I looked down at the furniture and I'm like, this is it's a donation business. So of course they get everything for free. And the idea is for them to raise money for their cause, whatever that may be, right? Their furniture, wow. Your couch was $400. $400. So I'm like, okay, this is extreme. All of their prices were like through the roof. And when they were raising money, because it was a Catholic store. And I knew the moment I walked in there, I felt the oppression. And I felt what is it? I know the spirit of religion. There's another one. I can't explain it. It was an old, I mean, I can't tell you the age of demons, but it was an old spirit, like a heavy spirit that weighed. So as soon as I walked into the atmosphere of that Catholic whatever spirit, immediately I felt this heaviness. So that's not the point though. In my videos, I was looking around, glancing at all these things, and I'm like, supposedly they're supposed to be, you know, for God, for Jesus, right? Yet they're selling, and they had them on display, like, you know, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're selling glasses, you throw them on a shelf and you put a price tag, right? No, they're glasses. They picked out ones intentionally that were like the horoscopes. And they put them on display. They picked out things that were anti-Christian and they put them on display. And I was like, wow, people shop here and they don't even know. They're not paying attention to the dark spiritual aspect of this. They don't see what I see. And I think the lady, because so most of the time, I think the nuns work there all the time. and they were getting ready to close. And she kept telling us, like, get ready to close, we're getting ready to close. And we're like, okay. But she paused. She literally stopped and went to me. And I was like, okay. So that was experience one. And we went to another thrift store. And as I'm walking, my sister-in-law's talking to me about things, and talking about sheets and clothes and this and that. But I was like, how many years did I waste doing this stuff? How many years did I make my, decorating my house a priority? Since when, right? Like, the things that I used to think were important are the things that I've spent a lot of my life doing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's being in Egypt, right? And so it's hard. It's really hard since this situation with my husband occurred. It's really, really hard for me to be around that and to be in the presence of people just living the normal day-to-day life. I don't see it. I don't understand it. And then we were looking also at books on the bookshelf of the second store we went to. And it was all the old Christian books that I used to read a long time ago, like Joyce Meyer and trying to think, like Oral Roberts and Max Lucado, who are all wonderful people. But to me, that feels like elementary school. And I'm like, I don't need to read that. I don't need to read that. I can't read that. It's not doing anything. I feel like we're past that lesson, And there's so many people living day after day right now, thinking that the world has not changed, thinking that God's timeline is not moving, thinking that there's still time, and there's not. There's no time. There's no time. And I know that all it did yesterday when I was like, oh, I am in Egypt, this is horrible, because the day prior to that, God led me to a study, and he was so good. He led me to a study to understand how it came about, the Exodus, his plan. Like, it was more detailed than I've ever studied it before. And like, why his plan and purpose for letting Israel become slaves for so long. Like, it's amazing if you look at that. Like, he actually did that to protect them and to cross the road. He did that to protect Israel by making them slaves. So he just was showing things to me, and the Ruach was revealing new understanding on the Exodus to me. And by protecting Israel, making them slaves, he protected them, one. Okay. Two, he knew when he pulled them out of Egypt, when he took them out of Egypt, the demonic spirits would not follow them because they didn't care about some slaves going through the wilderness. They stayed close to their masters, right? So that was part of the plan. And it was just amazing to think about. That's what he is doing with us now. So not just waking us up and quickening our spirits and taking us back to the root of who we are as Hebrews, he is pulling us out in such a way that the demonic spirits are not going to pay attention to us. They're going to stay close to their masters, stay close to the ones who worship them and give them glory and such. And I just find that really fascinating. Like, he's so good, and with his plan and his purposes always prevail. They always prevail, no matter what situation is. And so with my husband being in jail right now, he's pulling Egypt out of him, but he's protecting him at the same time. Because if he was out, he might still be living with the things that he wanted to let go of, but did not have the strength within himself to let go of them, right? But now that he's in a place where he has to deal with it, and it's about what I'm about to go through too, where he's in a place he has to deal with it and face it and can't run from it. So he's got to allow Yah to cleanse him and purify him in this hour. And it's awesome, right? It's awesome. And so that's what I'm about to go through too. He's really been impressing on me the last few days. 2 scary things. So I'm asking for prayer. If you will pray for me, please. But 2 scary things. 1, I have to fast beginning today. Well, I've been fasting off and on, but like a committed full fast, right? No food. Full fast. And he's been telling me that for months. And I've been fasting like 2 or 3 days here and there or whatever. Not good enough. So he told me that. And 2, he wants me, or I believe he wants me to. I'm praying about this because this is just really weird. And I'm not sure if I should do it or not. I don't know. It's really weird. And it keeps coming up in my mind, like when I'm praying. It keeps coming to the surface. So Abba said last year to begin praying for land, okay? He's really put it on my heart to begin to pray for land. And that's as far as I want to share about that. There's more details into why land, but I don't feel like I need to share at this point the whole situation. But he really pressed upon my heart to pray for land. So he's been telling me that while my husband is there, he says, or at least I believe, I don't know, it's just weird, to go to the land, and possess my land and stay there for a few days by myself on this land. And by the way, it's perfectly safe. There's nothing unsafe about the situation because it is family. But he told me to go sit on the land while I'm fasting and pray and be with him. And it's kind of scary because I'm like, well, that's weird. And what about this? And what about that? And you really want me to just go to the land? So I've been praying about it. It's part of the reason I made this video, because he's pulling me out of Egypt. And I said something really funny the other day. I said, well, at least it's not going to take me 40 years to get to the promised land. And I laughed so hard because it's been 40 years. I'll be 43 in a few weeks. And it's literally been 40 years, right? I was like, oh, that's funny. But anyway, I just noticed, like, everybody's argued about whether America was Babylon, blah, 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 right? Don't argue about that. This is Egypt. We know where we are. It's truth. All the things we thought were good and right are wrong. And it's just getting more and more and more. It's getting darker and darker and darker, but we are the pillars of light. It's our job and our responsibility to obey Jehovah Elohim and to let our light shine no matter where we are or what the circumstance is, and to act like, better than Israel, like his children, his redeemed children, and honor our Father, right? So that's what I wanted to share. If you are still stuck in Egypt, please pray and ask God to give you supernatural eyes, spiritual eyes, so that you're not walking around in blindness and being deceived, because many are deceived. Many are in the dark, and narrow is the road, right? So I want to try to help as many as I can find that road and stay on it. But yes, so pray for my husband. We did find out from the lawyer, $650 sets him free. It's still going to be a battle after that, but once he gets out, we can meet with the lawyer and pursue further action as far as getting everything said and done forever, right? Because God wants to vindicate him this year and set him free. Because he's innocent. They're basing it off a number which didn't exist, which was child support says that when you have a behind balance, well, they gave him a credit of $20,000 many years ago when we were fighting this, and they did not take the interest off of the $20,000 that they were at fault for charging him. And so literally right now, that is why he's in jail. For the $20,000 of interest that child support did not credit him when they took off the $20,000 credit. And so it's injustice. It's wrong. But he's there to get clean. And now Abba's making a way for him to get out. So I am believing for the $650. I am pressing in. I'm praying for it. And I'm going to put our truck up for sale because I don't know what else to do. So I ask that you would just agree with me. Pray with me. I'm praying for you guys all the time. I love you. And just thank you for your continued